Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Balava Girivaradhari Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivakajara Sarasisimat His Divine Grace Shri Lesa Bhakti Vedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivakajara Sarasisimat Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Srila Thakur Bhakti Vinoda Ki Jai Sri Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Go Premananda Haribo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stavitam Yena Bhutale Shrayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Paritana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Padidhanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita translation and commentary Srila Prabhupada. They have to stop this banging. They have to stop. Tell them to stop. We'll finish on time.
Finish work. Finish work.
Yeah, but they're banging here. What do you mean they finished work? They're banging. Huh? Anyway, we'll see. But if they start banging, please tell them.
Work finished now 6:30.
Yeah, but class is now, it's 5:30.
Finish now.
Anyway, you listen. If they make noise, you talk to them. So, reading from Srimad Gita, 15th verse, chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme. Please repeat. Mam upetya purna janma dukhalayam asashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata mam upetya punarjanma dukhalayam asashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanah samsiddhim paramam gata mamupetya punarjanma dukhalayam asashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanah samsiddhim paramam gata. Okay, go ahead.
Mamupetya punarjanma dukhalayam asashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata.
Mamupetya punarjanma dukhalayam asashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanah
Samsiddhim paramam gata.
Mamupetya punarjanma
dukhalayam asashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gatam. Mamupetya punarjanma Jai. So, word for word, please repeat. Mam, me. Upetya, achieving. Purna, again. Janma, birth. Dukkha alayam, place of misery. Asashvatam, temporary. Na, never. Avapnovanti, apnuvanti, attain. Mahatma Atmana, the great souls, Samsiddhim, perfection, Paramam, ultimate, Gataha, having achieved. After attaining me, the great souls, who are yogis in devotion, never return to this temporary world, which is full of misery, because they have attained the highest perfection. Please repeat. After attaining me, the great souls, who are yogis in devotion, never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Purport Srila Prabhupada. Since this temporary material world is full of miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, naturally he who achieves the highest perfection and attains the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, does not wish to return. The supreme planet is described in Vedic literature as Avyakta and Akshara and Param Giti. In other words, that planet is beyond material vision and is inexplicable, but it is the highest goal, the destination for the Mahatma, great souls. The Mahatmas receive transcendental messages from realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets, nor do they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. They only want Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. That is the highest perfection of life. This verse specifically mentions the personalist devotees of the Supreme Lord Krishna. These devotees in Krishna consciousness achieve the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the Supreme Lord souls. Yes. So, Mukam karoji vachalam pangam laitegarib yad kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru dinatarinam. Mambu petya punarjanma dukhalaya masashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. After attaining me, the great souls, who are yogis in devotion, never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Yes. So here, Prabhupada, here Krishna is making this point. One name of Krishna is Achyuta. Achyuta means infallible. Also it is translated one who never falls down. So in this material world, everyone is falling down, becoming ensnared by the laws of karma, trying to enjoy the material world. But in the spiritual world, nobody has this desire to enjoy. So the Supreme Lord, he is called Achyuta, but his devotees are also Achyuta, because they are fixed in devotion. And that's the reason given here, that yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world. This is too noisy. You have to finish this. Huh? So, because they're devotees, they're fixed. This is the point. So, the living entity is Achyuta when he is fully developed in devotion. When he's not developed in devotion, then he is capable, or his tendency is to be overcome by Maya. But a devotee who is Mahabhagavat, purified, yogi in devotion, they never become attracted to the material energy. And this is what this verse, after attaining me, the great souls, the Mahatma, who are yogis in devotion. So this is a clear point made by Prabhupada here, that Mahatma Sometimes that word is used in India a lot. Mahatma this, Atma this. But Krishna is explaining the Mahatma is the yogi in devotion. He is the Mahatma. And they never return to the material world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So, this is very similar to verse 21 also. Have a listen to this. That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, there's that word akshara here, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns, that is my supreme abode. Last week we were discussing this point, that sometimes people think that they go to Goloka, or in Golok people will fall down. But this is apasiddhanta. Once one attains Krishna Bhakti, once one attains Krishna Loka, there is no fall down. So the theory that the living entity is in Goloka and becomes envious of Krishna or somehow, and then is thrown into the material world, is not supported by Krishna. It is against Krishna's statement. Once having attained it, I'll say it again, that which the Vedantists, that means the studiers of the Vedas, describe as unmanifest and infallible. So avyakta means unmanifest, and infallible again. There is no fault in that place. There is no possibility of defect. That which is known as the supreme destination, paramgatim, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns. So it is clear that one does not fall from Goloka. So I don't know where this idea comes from. That is my supreme abode. So that is very reassuring, because if we were to go to the spiritual world and then fall again, that would be very terrible, disappointing. But we can be assured that when we attain Krishna Bhakti, we do not fall down. And that is one of the side effects of that false philosophy that people are in Goloka and they are becoming envious, and therefore they're falling down to the material world. There's no envy, there's no fault. It is the infallible abode. It is perfect and complete, that abode. So that idea is cancelled by Krishna. Now, last week we were explaining how does one attain the Supreme. That is quite simple. If you remember last week, you go wherever your focus is, and you will focus wherever your desire is. Whatever you desire to attain, you will focus in that direction, make a plan to achieve it, and then achieve it by grace of Krishna. So, Krishna explains in the previous verse how to focus the mind on the Supreme Lord. Right? Now, of course, we know in Kali Yuga, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We can focus on the Maha Mantra. But it's very important, Shravanam Kirtan, to hear, to have the right Siddhanta and the right vision of the spiritual world. That is Prayojan Tattva, what we're trying to achieve. So Krishna explains this, if you remember last week, One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable and is always a person. But he is luminous like the sun, and he is transcendental, beyond this material nature. So avyakta, he's beyond the material. That means unmanifest to the material situation. So this is, as we explained last week, the general definition of the Supreme Lord. He is the source, he is the controller, he is the maintainer, he is perfect. So in English they call that, you can say this is a generic description. Generic means general. It means a wide-ranging description. But then if you remember, last week we discussed that a devotee, a sadhaka, when he is performing all this meditation and chanting Hare Krishna, reading Bhagavatam, learning the Leela of Krishna, then he does not worship Krishna in this way. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas, this is very interesting, because this generic description of Krishna, if you hear, it is the description of Krishna from the situation of the material world. He is the oldest. He is unmanifest. He is Anusvara, the controller. He is beyond material conception. He's the maintainer. He is luminous like the sun and transcendental beyond this material nature. So this is Krishna being described from the point of view of the material world. So for the sadhaka who's beginning his sadhana bhakti, that is excellent way to start upon his smaranam, his meditation. And smaranam, we often hear Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Smaranam should be done on the form of, this is generally recommended, that those that have mantra initiation 3 times a day, they should meditate upon the form of Krishna, particularly in the dusk, noon, and at night. Dawn, midday, and dusk. It's explained in Hari Bhakti Vilas that at dawn he should meditate upon the sun rising, and he should start his mantra when the sun just comes over the horizon. And usually it takes 5 minutes to chant the mantras. So one should meditate on the rising sun and chant the mantras, facing east in a yogic asana. And in the Hari Bhakti Vilas it says you should chant the mantras noonday, and you should face north. It's on Hari Bhakti Vilas. And then naturally, of course, you meditate upon the setting sun. And the same thing, that you start your mantras when the sun just touches the horizon. So of course, living in a city or a town, that may be difficult, but you can approximate the time. So this is, like we say, it is Krishna from the point of view of the material world. He's transcendental, he's the supreme controller. But then, if you remember, we quoted Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said that the devotee, he will gain attraction for Krishna through his sadhana, his general sadhana, but then his attraction for Krishna will take the mood of Shanta, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya Ras. So then he may meditate upon Shyam Sundar form. So in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, written by Sanatana Goswami, but it was also, there was a lot of input by Jiva Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami finished the work of Jiva Goswami, and Digdarshana Tika, he made his own commentary on the Hare Bhakti Vilas. So the first Vilas, there's 11 I believe, is about Guru. Second Vilas is about the holy name. So he explains throughout the Hare Bhakti Vilas that the sadhaka, when he is properly initiated, fully initiated by mantra, by bona fide guru, then he no longer has Paramatma in the heart. He should meditate upon Sham Sundar in the heart. Because as Sanatana Goswami explains, he explains that the guru, the bona fide guru and the bona fide disciple, the bona fide guru, when he's giving initiation, what is initiation? Initiation means beginning. So Sanatana explains he's actually being initiated into transcendence when he's properly initiated. So therefore he is not going to worship Krishna from the point of view of a sadhaka in the material world, but he will worship Krishna from the realized position of somebody who is being introduced to the transcendental platform. Now the word Diksha is made out of two, Di and Sha. So there's also confusion on Diksha. But Diksha actually means Di. The Guru gives knowledge by which one can enter the spiritual world. And that knowledge will, for the sadhaka, have two aspects. He will give mantra and mantras to disciple, and he will give the siddhanta of the mantra. When you chant a mantra, you should know the meaning, you should know the goal of the mantra. So the Guru gives divya. He gives knowledge, which means mantra and the siddhanta of the mantra. And Shiyate, Diksha, like we have Chatriya. Triya. Chat means harm. So Diksha by bona fide Guru means that you are given entrance to the transcendental platform, and you are also, so you're going in that direction, and then you're being protected from the material energy. That is the two aspects meant by Diksha. So Diksha gives entrance to the spiritual world, and it gives protection from the material. And so the knowledge of the Guru gives that. And then the disciple in that form of Diksha into Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, he doesn't worship Vishnu or the expansions of Vishnu, Paramatma, ruling and not manifest in the material world, but infallible. He worships Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna. So therefore he's on the form of Sham Sundar. You've heard in Smaranam. Smaranam is what? That Krishna is realized first in his name. That means when the sadhaka is chanting, he feels the presence of Krishna. Then the name, he feels the presence of Krishna in the name, because Krishna and his name are one. So then he will meditate on the form of Krishna. So that is the Sham Sundar form. So the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, followers of 6 Goswamis, Nityananda Parivar. Prabhupada is in the Nityananda Parivar. They meditate on Sham Sundar, the Lord of Goloka. And then Nam, Rupa, Guna, the qualities of Krishna. So the qualities of Krishna are described Nectar of Devotion, Ujjvala Nilamani, and they are given the personality of Krishna. So the devotee studies the personality of Krishna, and then that is Guna, and then Sangha and Leela. The fourth stage is to realize the Leela. But before we realize the Leela of Krishna, we have to know the Sangha of Krishna. So Radharani is the primary Sangha of Krishna. The Sad Goswamis, they are the Sangha of Gaunitai and so on. So how should a devotee combine in his sadhaka, in his sadhana, how he should combine his worship of Gaunitai and his worship of Radha Krishna? Sometimes this question is asked. You say, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto. Well, I don't say, actually Krishna says it. Krishna says, Manmana. So, but do I meditate on Gaunitai or do I meditate on Radha Krishna? There may be confusion in that mind. Because in the period of sadhana, we want to develop a vision of Goloka Vrindavan within our consciousness. Through our study of the Shastra, by our meditation, we get a vision of transcendence. And that becomes our vision that we chant for. So, the prescribed prescription is, it's explained in the Shastra, that a devotee, he will take, if during the period of sadhana he worships Gaunitai and Radha Krishna, then he will take one form to engage in Gaunitai Leela and another form to engage in Radha Krishna Leela. So the confusion may be there. Do I meditate on Gaunitai or other? What is this? So the prescription in the Shastra is that primarily first the devotee should meditate that I am in the parivar, I am in the family of Gaunitai, I am in the association of the 6 Goswamis, and in their association, Gaunitai and the 6 Goswamis, Panchatava, I am meditating upon the Leela of Krishna. So when we perform, as we explained, Bhuta Shuddhi, we sit down, we think, I am not this material body, I am a spirit soul. I am a spirit soul, I am in the Sankirtan party of Gaunitai, and within that Sankirtan party I am worshipping Radha Krishna. Now, as I explained, the generic attraction to Krishna is, he is Bhagavan, Aishwarya Bhav. But now Goloka Vrindavan, the characteristic of that realm is that the devotees are meditating in Madhurya Bhav, Vatsalya Bhav, Sakya Bhav, so on. So that should be the system. If one is performing sadhana properly, then he will become attracted to Krishna. Krishna means all attractive. But he'll be attracted in an awakening stahi bhav. Stahi bhav means a mood of attraction. We gave the explanation that the mother has a mood of attraction for the child. The husband and wife, they have a mood of attraction. So attraction for Krishna will take a particular mood. And that is what's called in Narada Pancharatriki Sadhana, Panchanga Bhakti, that is called Swajaya. It is one's own contemplation. So as one's attraction awakens in a certain mood, he should chant in that mood. He should cultivate that mood. And so therefore, the next stage is, okay, there's the general understanding of Krishna from the material world, Aishwarya Bhav. He is the absolute truth, transcendental, avyakta, non-manifest. Then there's meditation of Krishna in Jaiva Dharma, where one is situated in the Sankirtan party of Gaur-Nitai, and in that association one is worshipping Radha Krishna, but in a particular mood. And then, how can he meditate in that Radha Krishna? So that is, as Prabhupada explains in the Krishna book, if you want to know the Leela of Krishna, you should read Krishna Bhavanamrita. Krishna Bhavanamrita is an explanation of the Ashtakala Leela. It is an illustration that the pastimes of Golok that the sadhaka is meditating on, in separation, they have 8 time periods. The morning period, the awakening period, morning period, lunch period, afternoon, evening. So a devotee should study that Leela. There are 3 basic enumerations. The earliest one is called the Sat Kumar Samhita, the Sanat Kumar of the 4 Kumaras. And that is there. That is in Jaiva Dharma in the 15th chapter. And then there is the Govinda Leelamrita of of Krishna Das Kaviraj. And that explains 1 day's pastimes in Goloka, a Sunday. And then there is the Krishna Bhavanamrita, which is the pastimes further explained in more Sanskrit poetry by Vishwanath Chakrabarti. So therefore, a devotee, he meditating on the Transcendental Supreme Lord, while situated in the Kirtan party, and he's chanting, increasing his chanting and his study of the spiritual world, and he is now remembering. There's many statements in the Shastra that Manmanav Badmakdo. What does that mean? Like I say, the first meditation is Vishnu, Aishwarya Bhav, and then Krishna in Goloka. So Krishna in Goloka means what? It means his Ashtakala Leela. Because if we're meditating in Aishwarya Bhav, that is Krishna and Lakshmi massaging the lotus feet. And that is a very formal Aishwarya Bhav. But if we want to meditate upon Radha Krishna in Goloka, it's natural that will flower into the Ashtakala Leela. So therefore a devotee should meditate on the Ashtakala Leela. This is Mahaprabhu's 6 Goswamis. But, this is the important point, he should meditate from the position of separation. He shouldn't think that by mere meditation I am entering the Leela. That is a mistake. He should think, Ainanda Tunija Kinkaram, Patita Mam Vishwavam Buddho, Kripayatava Pankaja Stuti Dali Sadrisim. I am your servant, son of Nanda Maharaj. You please pick me up and place me as an atom of dust on your lotus feet. So this means that the devotee is not thinking, I am entering Krishna Leela according to my meditation. That is one of the basic apasiddhanta that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta eradicated in the Sampradaya. And that is the idea that we don't have a constitutional nature, but we evoke a relationship with Krishna during the period of sadhana. Do you understand? That we have no constitutional relationship, but we are just an impersonal spark. That is apasiddhanta. So how can we understand that? Well, all the acharyas explain how to develop one's swarup. But also, if we understand the invocation to Ishopanishad, which is Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnat Udashite Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishite. So that invocation says the absolute truth is perfect and complete. Okay, easy to accept. And because he is perfect and complete, all emanations from him are perfectly equipped as wholes. That indicates that the living entity, when he's expanded from Krishna, Krishna creates the Jiva Shakti by transforming his Chit Shakti into the Jiva Shakti. Then that creation of Jiva is perfect and complete, meaning the Jiva is equipped with his Swarup, with his own constitutional nature, with his own constitutional relationship with the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, he's not perfect and complete. If I'm an expert from expansion from Krishna, but I have no personality, then I'm an incomplete. It's very plain to see. But if I'm an expansion from Krishna, then I have a function, I have a constitutional nature. For example, Krishna doesn't expand as Vishnu, and then Vishnu has no personality or nothing to do. So this is a problem with people who are fixed in impersonalism. They tend to think, oh, the Jiva has no form and personality, he's just a particle of Chit, he has no Anand. This is all bogus. The Jiva is Satchitananda Rupasya. That's the statement at the end of the Brihat Bhagavatamrita. The Jiva has a constitutional nature, and through sadhana bhakti and lila smaranam at the right stage, this constitutional nature will blossom. The example is given in the Nectar of Devotion that the bhakti lata bij grows into a plant and it produces fruit. So this is an important point. We often think, oh, my consciousness, I'm very clever. But we have to understand that actually conditioned souls, their level of consciousness is very much suppressed. It's not fully developed. For example, by illustration, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote all these incredible songs and books and philosophies. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta wrote essays, performed great austerity. Prabhupada opened over 100 temples, translated, commented on books. So these people, they exhibit great potency. Why? Because they are fully developed souls. When the seed is only half sprouted, he cannot be considered a full plant. So we should understand that the Mahajans, the Uttamadhikaris, the sublime devotees, their consciousness is fully developed. And within that consciousness is their constitutional nature of Krishna. And because they are fixed in Krishna, just like this verse explains, they are achyuta because they are engaged in the service of Krishna without fault. So this is a basic summary of sadhana bhakti. It is called raga anuga bhakti. You follow rules and regulations, 4 regulative principles, study the Gita, and then your raga, your attraction, will grow. And then in that attraction, you should take shelter of devotees of a similar mood. Those that are awakening in Madhurya Bhav, they study the activities of the Madhurya Bhav devotees in Golok. Those that are awakening in Vatsalya Bhav, they study and they become interested naturally in the Vatsalya pastimes. And therefore, we also find there in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, the Gopakumar, it's built around Gopakumara, the whole book. And he is in Sakya Bhav. So he is, it is his sadhana, meeting his guru. And then when he eventually attains Goloka, he at one point in the story, illustrative story, Sanatana Goswami, he goes to Vaikuntha, Haridam, where everyone is worshipping in Aishwarya, but he doesn't feel any comfort there. He wants to worship, he wants to be with Krishna in Vrindavan mood, where the idea of Krishna as the great powerful God is absent. So this also further proves the point that the nature, the relationship of the living entity is constitutional. We all have a constitutional relationship with Krishna. So if we understand this point, it's very important, then we don't become nervous. We think, how will I develop my relationship? Do I have to get this? Do I have to do this? No. It is there within your own very soul. It is your own very nature. And so when sadhaka is pursued and purity is pursued, then that constitutional nature will awaken. And once that is there, then we never fall to the material world, because we're sheltered in Goloka Vrindavan. Even if we're not physically there, we want to attain Krishna. This is the point there. The point is to attain Krishna, and then everywhere is Goloka. But we all have that constitutional nature. So we'll finish on that. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Any question on these points? Yes? Anyway, just remember the meditation on Krishna in a general sense. Krishna is Supreme God. But then as we progress in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we meditate upon Krishna in Goloka. And then that means we learn the Ashtakala Leela of Krishna. And we remember that during the day. Oh, now Krishna is making arrangement to meet Radharani on the bank of the Jamuna. So that is happening in early evening, so to speak, so on and so forth. So if you read those books, Sanak Kumar Samhita, Krishna Bhavanamrita, Govinda Leelamrita, that will give you a full picture of the spiritual world. And you'll see that the pastimes, they work on one coordinate. Vipralamba Sambhog. Vipralamba means separation, and Sambhog means meeting. So the Ashtakala Leela of Krishna it's built around that principle. In the morning, Radharani is going to Varsana. Krishna is going to Nandagram. Then they're meeting in the forest. Then they're having midday pastimes. Then they're separating again. Krishna's going to Nanda Maharaj, and Radharani is going to Varsana. But they're making a plan to meet in the evening. So this Vipralamba Sambhog, so the devotee worships in Vipralamba. It is a mistake to think, and this is where the impersonal idea is, that, oh, I have no constitutional nature, but my meditation, by my choice, I will choose my relationship. That is sense gratification, because one is considering what I want, what I think is suitable. But actually the spiritual world, we have a constitutional nature, and we will naturally worship in that mood. It is not needed to be artificially created. And also, those people that have those ideas, they tend to think, by my meditation, by my japa, by my austerity, I will march into Golok Vrindavan, and I will claim my rightful position. No. Like I say, Lord Chaitanya has explained for us, Ainada Tanuja Kinkaram, please place me as an atom of dust. We must approach. This is the intimate pastimes of the highest region of the creation, Golok Vrindavan. We must approach them with great awe and reverence, with a great reverence. We must think this is a wonderful thing. We should not think that I have a right or I will attain that place. This is an open place. Therefore, in the Gita, everything is in Gita actually. Manmana bhavamad bhakto majjaji mam namaskaru, right? Sadhana. Mam namaskaru means we approach Golok Vrindavan. We approach the Leela of Krishna. Mam namaskaru, right? With great humility. This is very important. But at the same time with confidence that by grace of Guru and Krishna, we will be taken to the spiritual world. This is the important point. But we must practice that gentility. We must be gentile. That means we approach with modesty. Oh, Krishna, oh, please, and so on and so forth. And so we find that in the Sad Goswami Astakam, right? Hey, Braje Devake, hey Nandasu no Koto. The 6 Goswamis, they were in Vrindavan and they were singing, oh, son of Nanda Maharaj, where are you now? Are you on the bank of the Jamuna or are you in Govardhan? They were going, and it explains, in this mood of separation. So this is also an important point. So the understanding the Leela, the key point, the thread in the Leela is Vipralamba Sambhog. So it's very important in the period of sadhana to practice Vipralamba. You have heard that Lord Nityananda has opened a marketplace of the holy name, and he's giving the holy name, and he's selling the holy name. So selling the holy name, how much do I pay? The only payment is lolyam. Lolyam means the desire. But that desire means that I haven't attained Krishna. You understand my point? If you think I have become a great musician, you will not practice. You think, oh, I'm the greatest piano player in Delhi. So I don't need to practice. No, we always have a sense of separation. I haven't attained Krishna. There's Madhu, he's attained Papa. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, any question on these points? Yes, so get a recording of the lecture. It'll give you the full picture, how to do your sadhana and attain Krishna. The main thing is to always understand that it will come by Krishna's grace, and because Krishna is unlimitedly merciful. So we go to Krishna and Guru saying, give me mercy, right? In a mood of separation. Yes.
Just now we discussed.
Huh?
We have to practice. We have to remember Ashtagadi Leela. Everything. If we practice like that, how many janma will take to reach?
Well, that's a good question. But in Harinam Chintamani, it's 13 chapters. And, you know, the touchstone of the holy name. Bhakti Vinod Thakur wrote that book. And I remember in the first section, one chapter, it's how to overcome the 10 offenses. Because if we can overcome the 10 offenses, then we can get the full power of the holy name. And then at the end, the final chapter, I think it's chapter 13, Bhakti Vinod explains, he says that a devotee, a Kinishtadikari or a sadhaka, he can for many, many lifetimes be a devotee. You know, he's born in a Vaishnava family, goes to the temple, he chants, he gets a job, he goes home, watches television, keeps in touch with the cricket scores. And then next life, he's born in a Vaishnava family and he studies the Gita a bit and he gets a job. And so he can go for many, many lifetimes, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He says hundreds or something like that. I was shocked when I read it. But he says, but if that devotee makes a full commitment, all right, and Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada is such a great example of this, right? He chanted 1 billion names. And we understand he came from Vaikuntha. He was so powerful. But he chanted 1 billion names in Mayapur, 3 lakhs a day for 9 years, or something incredible, right? Incredible Shakti and determination. So that's who we should take shelter of. You understand? And so Bhakti Vinod says that if you become determined and you decide, okay, I've got to support myself, I do this, but I'm going to get up in the morning, chant my rounds, I'm going to follow principles, I'm going to, like the devotee said, I'm going to learn Astakala Leela, I'm going to learn Bhagavatam, I'm going to read Rupa Goswami, I'm going to read Ujjvalamani. Then Bhakti Vinod says, if you do that and you cultivate, then in how many lifetimes? 1. This is the point. Yetam mam prapadyante. Right? Right, we just finished Ekadashi. If you follow Ekadashi nicely, you get a very powerful result. But if you don't follow Ekadashi, do you get the result? No. So if we want to go back to Godhead and we want to get Krishna Prem, it's open. The door is open. But we have to walk through it. And that means tapasya. Right? Tapa. Like Lord Brahma was told. Tapa. He meditated. And then he realized, he wrote the Brahma Samhita. So this is an important point. we can go back home to Godhead in one lifetime. Don't think I'm a man or a woman, I'm old or young, I'm smart, I'm not. Because remember what we were talking about last week? Bhakti Marg means what? It doesn't mean to do karma or to do jnana or meditation. Bhakti yoga means priti purvakam. Dadami buddhi yogam tam priti. Those that worship me with priti purvakam, with a devotional mood. They're chanting for my pleasure. They're offering me water for my pleasure. They're the bhaktas. You understand? If we're meditating, thinking, I want mystic power, I want elevation, I want to merge into the absolute. But the bhakta just thinks, let me develop better devotion so I can better please Krishna and the spiritual master. You understand? So that if that desire is maintained and cultivated, then Bhakti Vinod, and Srila Prabhupada also, right? He used to always say, you can listen to the lectures, go back home, back to Godhead. Many times he finished the lecture like that, right? He didn't say, I'm glad to have so many disciples. Maybe in a few lifetimes or 100 lifetimes you can all go back to Godhead. He didn't say that. He said, go back to Godhead in this life. So it's up to us. You see, that's also another point. Just because we got Diksha, it doesn't mean to say we have to do the tapasya like Lord Brahma, like Dhruva Maharaj. And we have to be like Jad Bharat, right? He chanting, not talking to anyone, not talking. Just, I'm not talking to those devotees. They'll distract me. So, this is important point. That according to your desire, your tapasya, you will get a fruit. But we have to do it. Like Krishna tells Arjuna, doesn't he? He says, armed with yoga, Arjuna, stand and fight. So that means armed with knowledge, devotees, do your tapasya. You know what I mean? And then we can become Bengalis in the next life and go back to Godhead. No, that's a mistake. We don't have to become Bengalis to go back to Godhead. Even though they may be saying that.
I'm not Bengali. I'm devotee.
Orisin.
No.
Orissa.
Damana Prabhu.
Yeah, you're transcendental to designation. You're, I'm just joking, but yeah. Huh?
Last class we discussed back to Godhead means not Gola Vrindavan.
Oh, well, yes. Well, people say back to Godhead, and they think that means... Prabhupada said back to Godhead, that means back to Krishna, doesn't it?
But not Gola Vrindavan.
Well, Prabhupada didn't say back to Goloka, did he? He said back to Godhead. Because when we turn away from Krishna and we try to enjoy, we're leaving Godhead, so to speak.
Go home.
Huh?
Like to go home.
Yeah. But if you see, you just want to be with Krishna, it's in one of the purports, Prabhupada says that. The devotee doesn't particularly even think about going to Goloka. He just wants to go where Krishna is. So that's in one purport. I read it today, I was preparing. Prabhupada says like that in one purport. I know, but people think like that. We fell from Goloka? No. That idea is leaving ISKCON now. Because nobody falls from Goloka Vrindavan. That is a perfect place.
And yesterday class, I have one now. Second paragraph, 14th sloka, second paragraph, one word is there. I want to read this. Bhakti Yoga is very simple, pure, and easy to perform.
Yes. Right?
But
Just it's easy to love your children. So it's easy to love Krishna. Because Krishna is the Supreme Father. Right? So we should feel a natural kinship for Krishna. But that kinship will develop into Sthayi Bhav, Vatsalya, Madhurya, so on. Go on, what's your question?
my question is, first I introduced to ISKCON, they say simply chant Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Then after that you have to chant 16 rounds to take initiation. During initiation they said I have to follow 4 regulative principles, follow the Ega Disvata. Then I have to take celibacy. Wow.
What?
I
Deliberate.
want to really enjoy the taste of Harinam. I want to follow the Brahmachari standard.
Yeah.
Then after that, you have to go to Vrindavan. You can get the real taste. After that, I came to join in ashram. I have to attend Mangalarti, I have to attend Darshanarti, I have to attend Guru Puja, I have to attend evening class, morning class.
Well, what's wrong with that? That's nice. But the point is, like Madhu, when he goes to school, they're not going to give him advanced mathematics on the first day. So yeah, but don't worry, it's very simple. Because dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. If we offer to Krishna with love and affection our chanting, that is bhakti. Bhakti means to cultivate love. I'm chanting out of love. My chanting is an offering of love. We're not looking for karmic result or jnana or yogic result. Then Krishna in the heart, he says that if you worship me with love, you worship me with love, I will give you intelligence. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. So Krishna will make you intelligent enough to know what to do. Just like Lord Brahma. He was in the universe, it was unmanifest. He heard tapa. But then he understood. Now I have to perform control of mind and senses and fix my consciousness on the Supreme Source. That was his meditation. What is the Supreme Source? Janmadya Shyatam. So Krishna gives you intelligence according to your necessity. You understand? So everybody is under Chaitaguru, Krishna. So Krishna will give you intelligence. He enjoys that. He enjoys giving people enlightenment. Does that answer your question?
I feel discouraged. 23 years, I am in the anartha nivritti stage.
23 years and you're still alive? What did you say?
Still, I am in anartha nivritti stage.
Ananta.
Anartha nivritti stage.
What? Anartha nivritti. Anartha nivritti means overcoming aparad. Anartha. So do you know what the 4 anarthas are? Do you know 4 anarthas? There are 4 anarthas. You should. So after 23 years you never found out what the 4 anarthas are? So how are you going to overcome? Number 1 is Svarupya Abramya. It means you have mistaken idea of the soul. Apasiddhanta, like we described. That's Svarupya Abramya. You don't know what is the soul and its relationship with Krishna. That's number one. Number two is asatrista. Means hankering for the asat. You know, oh, I want a girlfriend, I want money, I want position. You know, I haven't had this for 23 years. I want to be a big sannyasi and people will respect me. And right? Asatrista. Hankering for the non-eternal. Number three is aparad. There's four kinds of aparad. And they Dharma aparad, Nam aparad, Seva aparad, and Vaishnava aparad. So Vaishnava aparad is considered very dangerous, but you should overcome all of those. So that's three. And then number four is Rida Abalyam. Rida Abalyam means the weakness of the heart. Hridaya, in the heart, Abalyam. Not strong, not a tough guy, not Jagbara. You know, somebody who's Hridaya Balyam thinks, oh, Akaraji, I'd love a chapati. For one day they cannot stop grain and they want to go back to Godhead. So you see, so what are the four? Tell me the four now. First one, Swarupya, Abraham, the confusion about philosophy, Siddhanta. Number two, Asat Trishta, hankering for the mundane. Asat, what is it? Asat Tyagi a Vaishnava Chod. Right? Number three? Four aparad. Yeah. Four type of aparad. What is one? Dham aparad, Nam aparad, Seva aparad, Vaishnava aparad. In order. Then number four? Rida Abalyam. Yeah. In my heart, I'm not going to do that fasting stuff. Let's get some chocolate ice cream. Just for one day, you know, follow Ekadashi. And if, I can't fast for a whole day. Okay, then the day before, eat nicely. Eat a big meal. There's no injunction against being smart. If you know you're going to fast, right? Say it's Janmashtami. I have to stay awake till 12 o'clock. So then have a good meal the night before. It doesn't say in the Shastra, actually, there is different levels of Ekadashi. Do you know that? The day before Ekadashi, fruit and water. You know that, yes. And so you know. Then on Ekadashi, nothing, even water if you can avoid. And then the third day, the day after Ekadashi, and Dwadashi, fruit and water. Yeah, just, and then after that, drink water and food and so on. So, but Mahanidhi Swami used to do it, right? Ayendra, he was doing all this tough stuff. So it's really up to us. Anyway, we'll finish now. So now you know the four anarthas, right? Everybody knows the four anarthas. Next week I'm going to test. No, next week I'll bring the water from the Sangam, so we can enjoy. Okay, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.